And we're back at the hobby shop. Now, since I went through my whole tirade on Space Jaws, it's a real movie. I'm not making it up. Sci-Fi Channel showed it once. Never again. Disappeared.
Okay.
But now we're going to talk about more of our favorites. You mentioned, during the break, you mentioned 2001: A Space Odyssey. Have you seen the movie all the way through?
Yes,
or?
I've seen the movie all the way through. I know a lot of people said they couldn't just because it's so long.
So long, not a whole lot happening.
Yeah.
I've always said that, that's atmosphere building. It was building the setting.
Yeah.
Being, in space. Time kind of sits still. Time kind of stops in space.
It's a movie that you just interpret. You put your own interpretation into it.
I think it's hard to say if I really think it's one of the greatest movies of all time, because I don't know how much of it is idiocy or genius. Because it's one of those movies where it's like, is this really, really good, or is it just like, seems like it's good? I think it is legitimately good. I'm sorry, I keep interrupting.
It is good at parts, and it's also bad parts.
Like, I've never actually seen the movie, but of course I know the theme song from the movie. Who doesn't know it?
Yeah.
If you took anything away from it,
unless you're a kid and you think, oh, that's Ric Flair's music.
if you take anything away from it, the theme song is amazing. And that in itself has become such a cultural thing that everybody knows. You can at least say that.
It's kind of like in The Good, the Bad, the Ugly.
The minute you hear it, it's that. So.
2001: A Space Odyssey has probably one of the most iconic openings ever. With the monkeys.
Yeah, you're just like, what is this?
2001: A Space Odyssey, like I said, has probably one of the most iconic intros ever. And recently, the Nostalgia Critic did his top 10 movie intros, which apparently came out at the same time WatchMojo.com did theirs, but whatever. Both lists are really good. Great movie openings. Although I don't think 2001: Space Odyssey is in that list. But those lists are personal opinions. Opinion based. So. No, that just kind of makes me think of probably one of the biggest sci-fi things in existence, and that's Star Wars. I'm not like a big fan of Star Wars. I do like the movies. I do enjoy the movies. Return of the Jedi is one of my favorite movies. Period. It's one of my favorite movies. Period. Now, where do you guys stand on Star Wars?
I'm not really a big fan, but I really just see it as something that really did bring in more people into sci-fi. I think it kind of started the genre, because not a lot of people got into Star Trek.
Yeah.
It was more of a cult classic back then.
Well, with Star Wars, though, for me, I never could get into Star Trek as much as Star Wars because more stuff was going on. But I was a kid, and I wanted more action, and I didn't want talking.
I just see it as the gateway into sci-fi.
Yeah,
it did that job.
It's an iconic movie, definitely. I can't think of a single person who has not seen that movie. Unless you're some kid and you have no concept, maybe you watched the Clone Wars or something.
I mean, you just watch some aspect of it because it's been made into cartoons, games.
Yeah,
it's crossed virtually every popular media.
One of my favorite RPGs is a Star Wars game. That's Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic. Played the sequel. It was still good, just shittier ending. But yeah, the ending sucked. But the rest of the game I thought was okay. Not as good as the first one, obviously, but it's still really good. I even like games like The Force Unleashed. They're simple games and their stories don't really make a whole lot of sense if you're concerned about continuity.
Well, if you play The Force Unleashed, unless you are a huge Star Wars fan and know the universe inside and out, they're not going to make sense. Because the time frame they're set in is a very gray area for most of Star Wars history. There's not a whole lot of actual official Star Wars storyline in that area.
It's basically they can do whatever they want.
To a point.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, they created like an alternate universe.
Yes, they created the alternate version, you know, DLCs that you can download where
Yeah, like
Leia becomes the Jedi Master instead of
which
Luke and
is
so
just.
on. It's
I
got
can't imagine Leia ever being a Jedi. I know she had like Force abilities, and I think they even tried to make her one in the books. I didn't read the book, so
The book, she learned to use the lightsaber, she learned to use the Force, but she followed the politician's path. She always wanted to find diplomatic solutions to everything.
But I never could see her as the light swinging, lightsaber swinging.
But I remember a guy posted something on like Twitter a while back about the clones and the rebels, and I was sitting there reading it. It was pretty interesting because it was talking about what if the movies were more based on them, more of the struggles, more like a war-like thing. And I was like, if it was probably like that, unless with the Jedi, I would have probably really got into it. I mean, there is a lot of source they could really use with it.
That's what I like about some of the cartoons, like the original Clone Wars. It was just short little 10-minute episodes, as well as the next one. Is they focused a lot on the clone soldiers' dilemmas of what they go through. We're clones. We don't mean anything. What that does to you as a person.
Yeah.
And I like that aspect.
I don't think they really went too deep into that. I know the other show, the CGI show, did.
Well, that one did. The other one was kind of the introduction, the short little 10-minute one. You got to see more of the clones in action, like the whole, arch troopers thing with the whole.
I looked at kind of I actually looked at it kind of negatively, because I saw it's like, who really gives a shit what happens between two shitty movies? I said that then. For the longest time, I would not watch Revenge of the Sith. I have since. It's not bad. I mean, it's nowhere near as horrendous as the last two, but it's still not great. It's decent.
It was just a very rushed movie. Even though it's the same length and time as the other movies, there was so much information that people wanted to put into it.
They were trying to put so much into it. Now, I like the story they were attempting to tell. I think they went a little over the top with it, but there is still stuff I really loved in that movie, like the whole conversation between Palpatine and Anakin. They're at that show and he's telling him that story about
Darth Plagueis.
Yeah, it was actually a really great scene, timed perfectly. It had the right balance of atmosphere, and
It's a perfect scene
mood and atmosphere is kind of the same thing, but it was the perfect balance of all these things that I love in movies, kind of combined into one. Then it's completely undone with then it's completely undone later when you have no. When you get to that point where he's like, oh, the cat's out of the bag, I'm evil.
Well, the thing for me, I love the scene where he gets to that point because it basically is the transformation from Chancellor Palpatine to the Emperor that we know from episode 6.
See, I didn't like the scene just because I felt like it was way too over the top, way too cartoony.
But again, if you people look at Star Wars and they go, oh, this needs to be this hardcore, serious thing.
No, I'm not saying it needs to be.
But if you actually trace it back, the way George Lucas intended the movie was a very fun, adventurous movie.
Yes, I'm just saying that this scene was done too cartoony. This particular scene needed to be a serious scene. You needed to buy this, and I didn't. I felt like the scene was too cartoony for what it was trying to do. That's kind of how it felt like the whole thing with Anakin was. I think it could have been done better than what it was. There is aspects of it I do like. I really like what, at the end when, Obi-Wan figures out what happened, and that whole fight is one of my favorite scenes in movies, period. Basically, it's my favorite scene out of the prequels, which, to be honest, there's not a whole lot. Maybe that and Yoda fighting.
The prequels, I agree completely that they could have been done infinitely better. I think he should have done them the minute he got through with episode 6. He should have just started 1, 2, and 3. The technology would have been more consistent, and by the time 3 would come out, it would have been, roughly about close to the time 1 came out.
I think probably the biggest problem, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people have said this, but one of the biggest problems with Star Wars was George Lucas himself.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why this new one has more of a chance because
he's not there.
He's not at the helm.
You think about it, George Lucas got bummed out after 6 because it was he wanted to go in different directions.
Yeah.
And nothing else he did was ever as popular as Star Wars. Ever. Even Indiana Jones.
Keep in mind, I liked The Phantom Menace when I was a kid. I was 9 years old when that came out. But I have seen it since, and I realize how bad it is now. Now, it's not. I'm not saying that because it's the cool thing to say. It really is bad.
You look at the movies. The movies are actually okay movies, but when you
I
actually
don't think they are. The writing is all over the place. Sorry that I keep arguing with you, but I feel like they're just terrible movies as movies, period.
Well, like I said, there's a lot of story threads that they're trying to get across that your average viewer would not really get into. They're stories that are really subtle things.
No, keep in mind, I'm not a hardcore fan. I just think they're terrible movies. I'll let you finish. I'm sorry that I keep interrupting, but I was not a hardcore fan. I just saw it as a moviegoer. I'm talking more about the second one more than the first one. I just saw it as a moviegoer, wanted to see a good movie. I wanted to see a movie that would entertain me, and that two particularly didn't entertain me until the last 20 minutes.
Now, as I was saying, the bottom line is I was hyped up about 1, 2, and 3 like crazy because I'm a huge Star Wars fan. It's my favorite sci-fi thing of all time. And then when I finally saw them, I was really disappointed in all 3 of them. So me being this hardcore fan, I was more disappointed than you probably can imagine me being disappointed in them. There are aspects about all 3 movies I like, but there's so much I wish they would have done different.
What? Basically, it's all the bullet points everybody's been hammering in for the last 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
Mandalorian thing. It's not like some unknown. It's not some unknown. Like it's not magic or something like that. I can't come up with a better way to describe it.
There's a science behind it.
Yeah, and I hate that. It's just kind of like it really need to be explained. It's like I think they did it because the typical moviegoer doesn't want to think. They don't want to think, oh, what does that mean? No, they want the answer spelled out for you.
When Star Wars, so 1 came out, you're in a time period where everybody wanted explanations for everything. Every movie that came out had to be really super explanatory. So, that was just that time frame. We've gotten back into an area now where we're in an area of acceptance. It's like, okay, I really don't care what the reason is. I can just roll with it.
Well, the thing, though, is it pisses me off how it pisses me off how the typical moviegoer wants everything explained. They can't just take something and think, what does that mean? What is the significance of it? It's just like if they explain what was in the briefcase in Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
Like it would just be like spelling it out for you. So there's no, there'd be no discussion.
There's no creativity, discussion with other people, like, what is it?
Yeah.
What is in that tape?
It's intriguing, and some people just don't like that because they're lazy. They don't want to have to think and come up with their own solutions and figure things out.
It's something that just kind of drives me up a wall with people. And I've talked to people before. Their name, I will not bring up their names, but I have talked to people before, and it just infuriates me how little they want to think. And it just bugs me. Like one particular person, he would go on and on and on about how Michael Bay's Transformers movies are the best movies he's ever saw. That they're like, and he says, I'm just a nerd. That I'm just a nerd who can't enjoy anything. I can enjoy plenty of things, just not stupid shit. Well, okay, I can enjoy stupid shit, but
disgraceful shit is a better way that you don't want to enjoy it.
But with some of these.
Yep, Space Girls.
Anyway, it's just the typical. I've gotten to the point where I hate the typical moviegoer because it's just like they don't want to think. They just want shit thrown at their face for 2 hours. It's just like this is who they're targeting. This is the masses. This is who movies are being made for, and that depresses me. It's not made for the people who want more creativity, and they actually want interesting characters and an interesting story.
Well, you look at the Avengers. The Avengers, you know, you had all these years of building up to it, and all the different movies that basically told the backstories of the characters. And so the Avengers, you didn't have to worry about going in depth with that. It was just straightforward. Boom, this is it. We're gonna have a great action movie. It's gonna be fun and exciting.
Yeah,
it
and they
was.
can get away with that because they already have the story. The story's not like amazing, but you know, it's simple. It's simple to the point and entertaining.
Well, it's an example of character over plot.
Yeah, the characters are so good. You like the characters. I'm not the biggest fan of Robert Downey Jr.,
Oh, come
but
No, how can you
I'm
not be?
not a big fan of him. But I do like him as Tony Stark because
He is
accomplished-
Tony Stark. He
Yeah.
is Tony Stark.
He accomplished everything in the character. I'm not a big fan of the actor, but I gotta give credit where credit's due. The guy is amazing as Tony Stark. The guy who plays Thor. My only little nitpick is can he just wear the helmet? But besides that, as a character, and as the actor being the character and all that, he nailed it. Captain America nailed it. I think he nailed it in Avengers, not so much in Captain America.
Well, Captain America, it was, you know, very period film. You know, now with the Winter Soldier coming out, you know, we got still him playing Captain America in modern times. The interesting thing you get from Captain America is it's kind of like the goody two shoes, the Boy Scout kind of character.
Aaron. So, and sort of anybody who disagrees, this counts as sci-fi as far as I'm concerned. You know, super soldiers and shit. We all run it. So we're gonna have to wrap this up. But continue. But finish what you're saying.
Basically, it's just, you know, he's still the kind of Boy Scout goody two shoes, but not in an annoying way that people can sit there. It's because you kind of empathize with him. It's like he's missed out on so much of history that, you know, it's like, what would you be like if you had missed out on your entire life and now you're thrown into a world that you don't understand?
Yeah, everybody you know is dead, dead or like 100 years old or something.
So, but I mean, in conclusion, we can just, you know, I'd say throw our, you know, like top two, since we're running out of time, favorite sci-fi movies.
Now I can edit this down, so don't worry about it. Plus, I can get 4 to 15 minutes on YouTube. I did not know that.
Good. Alright, so.
But we'll give like our top 5. We apologize. We didn't really go into depth into all of them, but it'll just be the, you know, our favorites that come to us.
Well, I mean, you know, there's a lot in the sci-fi. So
Yeah,
it's pretty hard to cover
we
everything.
can't cover everything.
No, it'd be impossible to. You know, you need like 100, 200 episodes to cover everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. But well, you know, like usual, it'll be me, Aaron, and Don. And this is right off, you know, right on the spot. I didn't even put any thought to this, but it's just my sci-fi ones, and all of these are ones I did not talk about. But in no particular order, my 5 favorites probably be Alien. Not your typical sci-fi fare. Not, you know, they don't go into depth into the universe and all that. They do a little bit, but it's not how sci-fi usually goes. But you know, it's a great movie, great characters. Yeah, great movie, great characters. The atmosphere was perfect, and you really got that sense of what space would be like. You know, and this is back in back in 1978. You know, long before we had movies like Gravity and stuff like that. But it was a really good movie. Another one I did not talk about, and it's just because it just now came to me. Back to the Future. It set the standard for anything time travel related. Although I do find it annoying when people have to be like, oh, that's not how time travel works. Like, you know what how time travel works.
But the big woobly, how do you say it? Fuck Doctor Who. I don't know.
But everybody thinks, oh, time travel works like it did in Back to the Future. Which I can't blame them because it's what made that popular. It's the one that popularized that theory, you know, time paradoxes and stuff like that, and you know, one change can create a whole nother alternate universe.
How about Terminator also?
Oh, Terminator, yeah. Terminator 2 definitely would be in there, be in my favorites. It's one of my favorite movies. One of my things I love about something I look for in a movie is good character development. And all the characters in Terminator 2 start at one point and end at a completely different point. And this is for all the characters, even some of the smaller characters. So that's three: Alien, Terminator 2, Back to the Future. Star Wars: Return of the Jedi definitely has to be on there, and Wrath of Khan. Not a big Star Trek fan, but I do love that movie. I think it's a really damn good movie. Besides that. All right, that's 4 or 5.
That's 5.
That's 5. Okay.
Alright, for me, if I was gonna pick my top 5 favorite sci-fi things, it would probably be like, maybe Halo would be number 5. You know,
I keep forgetting about video games.
I love Halo series like crazy. It's an amazing series. It's very in-depth, simple, and fun.
I bet we said top 5 sci-fi films, but
Well,
it doesn't matter.
The whole episode's about sci-fi, so.
Yeah, well, it don't matter.
So, you know, 4 would probably be Gears of War. I'll talk about it. 4.
If I was going to say video games over
Really,
here,
really good.
Metal Gear Solid.
You know, I love the games like crazy. So, then the next 3 are movies. So number 3 would probably be The Crow. It's just a movie that hits home for me. Yes.
Would you count that?
I haven't seen it, so I wouldn't know.
It's about a guy coming back from the dead. I mean,
Well, it's not really. The science really has nothing to do with that. That's more magic. Well, not really magic, but you know what I mean. It's more fictional.
Well, it kind of is.
No, well, not fictional. I mean, it's more fantasy based, but.
Well, if I was gonna sit there and have to change that for something, probably. What would be? Maybe I don't know, like Tron or something. You know, definitely science fiction.
Okay. Wait,
Yeah.
Tron or Tron Legacy?
Probably Tron Legacy because I haven't seen first Tron in years. I mean, Legacy was just an awesome movie.
I disagree with
You know, and then number 2 would definitely be Back to the Future. You know, like you were talking about. I was already going to talk about that a little bit, but never got a chance to since somebody was hogging the episode.
Sorry.
Back to the Future, definitely number 2. It's probably my all-time favorite time travel movie ever. You know, it's my second favorite, you know, science fiction, which is really difficult because that and Star Wars were really a close race. And then, of course, number 1 will be Star Wars. So.
Okay. Wait. That's cool. Alright, so.
For me, I actually have to really think on this for number 1. It's really between 2.
Well, again, like I said, it's in no particular order.
Yeah. But for me, I'm gonna have to say Star Trek, but that's pretty obvious, or probably Mass Effect.
And
Probably.
People watching this, keep in mind that because I did all movies, this is just whatever sci-fi we can come up with. So, I don't really want to plan.
Yeah.
That really matters. But
Yeah.
anyway,
I mean,
I forgot about Mass Effect, by the way.
Yeah. But, you know, it's these really big worlds that they create. You know, they have rules, they have laws, they have different species, they have, you know, they put a lot of effort into this. And, you know, a lot of it makes you think.
One thing though, I gotta love the callback to Star Trek in that banging alien chicks. That was basically every episode. Alright, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Let's see. Number 2. Probably gonna have to go with Space Odyssey. Yeah, for number 2.
How did we how did I not think of that? You mentioned it earlier.
Yeah, we were talking about it a while back.
Anyway.
Let's see. Number 3. Man, this is actually kind of hard. Number 3. I'm gonna actually go with Steins Gate. I don't know if you've seen it or not. Steins Gate, the anime.
Oh, okay, no.
Yeah, it's like number 3. It's like really recent.
I thought you said
It's about a year.
I thought you said Stargate.
No, it's Steins Gate. And you know, it's like Back to the Future, but it's done time a little different. Like you can only send messages back in time, not your physical form.
Yeah.
You can only send, you know, messages back to your old self. And that was actually really refreshing because it's like, so you can't really alter it yourself, but you can tell someone not to do something that alters the timeline later on. So, you know, a little different. and new. Let's see, number 4. I'll probably have to say Halo. Yeah,
What I
have to agree on that.
Never got into Halo, so it's just it too.
Yeah. And number 5, I just grew up with it again. It's like Star Fox.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew up with that.
What was up there? How did we not talk about Spaceballs?
Because it's more of a satire. And
I know,
comedy.
but how did we miss that one? It's
Well, I
the
mean,
great science fiction movie.
well,
of all
eventually we'll
time.
probably do an episode on like spoofs and parodies.
Yeah,
and
we're
stuff.
gonna have to.
So
And-
definitely one of the better ones.
Excuse
Fucking
me.
break down scary movies. Fucking movies.
Scary.
Probably gonna be more of a rant than it is gonna be like.
Yeah.
Well,
I've only
personally, I
seen
did love
2.
Scary Movie. I mean, I did love
Okay.
1, 2, and 3, and 4 was even hilarious.
Well, the next segment we're probably going to talk about sci-fi movies we hate or we love to hate. So kind of getting those that guilty pleasure territory where it's like so bad we can't help but love it. So we'll be right back.